Hello everyone and welcome to ZSR Main. Tonight we've got a match of the Zelda Randomizer Upstarts Tournament 2024. We're in quarterfinals here. This is game 1 between Malchior and Hitman. I'm starting with me on comms is Ellender. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. This is the first of our live broadcast races for this top 8. Each of our rounds is going to be best 2 out of 3. There is one tiebreaker match still to determine who our last runner in the top 8 will be. That'll be on Thursday. But today we've got Malchior and Hitman. And I got a little bit of background on both of these runners, since people who are new maybe have been around for Zelda 2 for a while, but haven't seen these runners playing other games. Malchior is an experienced Zelda 1 randomizer player who, if I recall correctly, had a deep run in the tournament recently. And Hitman, coming over from Link to the Past randomizer, has just a million races there and has made it into the top 8 here.
Yep. Yeah, so this should be a fun match. Yes, Patrick. Malchior's wife, Mrs. Malchior, is also rather active on the Z1R community as well.
Yes. So out of our 4 top 8 matches, this one likely to be the closest. This is the 4 and 5 seed up against each other. The winner of this match will go on to face the winner of the match between our tiebreak winner and Oboe, who's our number 1 seed this tournament. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Malchior, as I have heard referred to him several times.
I have actually had the pleasure of meeting both Mr. and Mrs. Malchior in person at Speed Gaming Live, which was quite fun a couple of years back. Hey, Darrowing, long time no see.
Yep. For people who haven't seen the flags, these are going to be the same as our Week 6 Swiss flags. Mostly standard stuff going on. We've got a couple little twists. We've got a candle start. We've got hard Karok. Shout outs to J Roboy for programming that one for us. So our runners will have to work at least a little bit harder on Karok.
Alright, we're off though. Islands biome, got Fairy Cave right next to start heading west, the backside of Fairy Cave, so we're going nowhere fast there. And it looks like I've got a town just north of start. No idea where we are on the map relative to anything, because, hey, it's islands. Other than we're not on the western edge, but we'll see. Probably just north of start has Reflect in it, that's always a nice find.
A slightly different choice on experience. Hitman going with 213 to Malchior's 222. Early on, I definitely like the ignore magic strats, just because there's not really anything to do with it, although that can definitely come back to bite you if it means you don't have enough to cast Fairy for downstab when the time comes.
Yep. Reflect is nice to get here early. We also got a hint for both runners that Hammer is in the west, so that's an early hint to get. Who knows where it is, but we have it.
Yeah, we are needing all 6 gems for the flags today, so Reflect 100% required. Though we do have Linked Fire, so it is possible that you could pick up Reflect that way, and we're going to see a grass tile shortly, and is this the boots? It is.
Yep. I was just thinking that this island's map does not look friendly sans boots.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of bridge connections on this starting island.
Or 0, apparently.
Yeah, it's a thing that happens. The bridge connection code not perfect sometimes, and that looks like it's a bridge leading off the continent. If I had to guess, might be wrong.
I'm thinking that's just a bridge heading further north, because it looks like we might have started in the southeast corner. But again, really hard to tell because islands.
Yeah, and both runners following a pretty standard routing, just looking for caves, looking for items. Hammer gonna be somewhat useful if they find it, but mainly we're looking for the glove. We're looking for any kind of safeties early on that are going to help them survive some of these palaces. Magical key would be nice.
Oh, for sure. Enemy set here, not too bad. There's our hammer as promised.
Yeah, could be useful. Malchior choosing to sacrifice a life for about 10 seconds of time save.
Mm-hmm. Wanting a bit of time save, not a big deal if they do game over right now, because it is islands with boots, so you can get everywhere pretty quick.
Yeah, as long as you don't die like a couple screens into a cave or something like that, then a game over isn't going to cost you very much.
And I was correct about that bridge. We are on the eastern coast, it looks like. That south-facing cave here might be interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think we saw a companion to it. Malchior going to be the first one with a check. And wow, we were all the way in the south to start.
Apparently, yeah, because that is actually the far north now for Hitman, is to get a cave to Maze Island here in the far northeast.
Yeah, and Maze Island also with another cave off of it.
P2 or 5 for Hitman in the north, a little bit east, a little bit west of that.
Ooh, Malchior does a check and
P3 or 6 for Malchior.
200 points from these red iron knuckles, so Malchior going to do a little bit of a farm here.
Yeah, it's not bad. Hitman's up in the northwest corner now, finding a... Nope, no hint for us. Northwest corner also has Palace, the other of P2 or 5, both on the west, both rather gray. And we've got Rudo with life, and they're right next door to Saria, it looks like. Which has... We're just going to check the other side of it. And a hammer block cave that's either an item or a continental connector.
Alright, so Malchior getting his kill, gonna take an up A. That was just him finishing up the level before continuing to explore. Here's a coast.
I think that's the east, actually.
It definitely feels like the east, because that's the southeast corner, and we saw the southeast corner of the west. No, it's not.
Or that's the southwest corner of whichever continent this is, which we're about to confirm is actually the west. Okay, never mind.
Okay, so that means we have already seen both caves.
That is a hammer blocked item cave, just north of Malchior there. I'm not sure if that's the same one that's next to Saria and Rudo for Hitman. But we have at least one west-facing hammer-blocked cave on the western coast. That's Shield and Saria for Hitman, and I actually didn't catch the spell in Nido.
I believe it was Shield spell?
No, that was for Saria.
That was Saria. Okay, well...
Oh, okay, confirmed that's the same hammer-blocked cave for both runners. Good to know.
Yeah.
Which Malchior.
Yeah, Hitman does have a tracker to check the spells, but has not marked it, so... Thunder and Vito, okay.
Malchior has it marked on his side, although it's also just a little hard to read, because it's a little tiny on our screens. Seeing the drop hole from Malchior is rather nice to have.
Yeah, some of the runners in Upstarts, because the earlier weeks had extra keys in the palaces, some of the runners got into the habit of doing out-of-logic palace exploration, and we no longer have those extra keys, although it looks like the keys are decently common in the drop table.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and Hitman is going to see his Thunder spell and probably find the way to the maze through the other cave and just sort of reverse Malchior's route.
Yep. Yeah, both orders basically doing the western coast of the west in the opposite order from each other, one going from north to south, the other from south to north.
Could have made a difference if any of the towns on the way gave them access to downstab, but not going to happen here. That's another thing that up until week 6, the runners started with downstab, and so I've seen some runners not prioritize picking it up really early just because they're not used to it, but I suspect now that we're in top 8, pretty much everyone is going to be grabbing downstab as soon as they have reasonable access to it, though.
Yep.
So far, no way to the east.
No, we didn't really see much of Maze Island from Malchior. But so he really just explored the two connector caves to the west and the palace that was also there. And then also just ground some levels at the palace that was there, which is either 3 or 6, no one's checked. We have seen all 4 towns and all 3 palaces, Raft for Malchior, Child for Hitman.
Yeah, Raft a big pickup for Malchior because odds are
50-50 we need it for the east at this point.
Yeah, and if we do, it kind of we've seen the raft tile on this maze already. We have not seen whether the
comment on it. I don't know if Hitman registered it being there, but we saw it.
Yeah, the bridge could also be on the maze. We haven't checked the north or western edges yet, but with boots, it should be pretty easy to check regardless.
Yep. Yeah, here on the west, we've seen all 6 items now, so that is all landmarks covered between our runners. We've seen all 4 towns, all 3 palaces, and all 6 items. That is the west cleared between the 2 of them, although each of them is missing a thing or 2.
Yeah, and it's kind of oops all progression items here in the west. We've got a flute, we've got a child, which is the only way we could be blocking spell progression. At this point, the only things our runners really need are some way to put palaces into logic. They need to beat P1 in order to get Thunderspell. And we're, of course, going to have to ask the age-old question, where's the glove?
Yep. Do we know, actually, that medicine is in P1? I actually missed the hint.
Yes, that was the hint. It was in P1. But without access to fairy or any key, our runners not going to be able to logically clear that, although pick up a couple more keys and we might see an out of logic P1 check when they find it.
Yeah, we do know that P1 has to be in the east, as does P4, because we've seen all 3 palaces on the west. They're P2, P5, and GP. Here is P2 for Malchior. I did not catch which one was which. I think one of them is kind of in the northeast-ish, the other's in the northwest, if I remember correctly, in our palace locations for them. And GP's in the southwest corner.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with out-of-logic palace checks. It made a lot more sense in the earlier week flags when you had extra keys in palaces, half magic cost, for fairy. But I think Malchior only has 1 key, and this is a bit of a speculative check in P2.
It is. Hitman's still clearing the overworld on the west. He has yet to find his flute, which he should find right here, I think. Yeah, he's got the other items on the west. Also, hey everyone in chat. Nice to see everyone again. It's been a good minute since we've been last on ZSR. There's flute for Hitman. And yeah, that's a key block from Malchior, which he apparently does have a key. Has more keys than we got.
Oh, and another key dropping, so the drop pool definitely saving him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, aside from the hard container, every item on the west was potential progression. That's quite a strong west.
Just a bit, yes. The algorithm was a little funny with us today. I'm a little curious what Hitman's looking for at this point. I think it was going back to Mesa Island. I was going to say he knows where all his landmarks are on the west at this point, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to get a raft check from him and see if this is the east. It is not. It's Death Mountain.
That's either mountainous or a north-south caldera, I think.
Yeah, hard to say. Doesn't look like the boosts are going to be very good. And now Hitman's sort of... I like Hitman's thought here. He's going to check the edges, make sure the bridge isn't in the maze, maybe get some items from the maze.
Mm-hmm. Hitman trying to make sure he gets eyesight of of the edge of the map as far as possible, and then gonna pick a path and start heading away from the river to see if he can find an item or 2.
Yeah, Malchior, having given up on P2, probably going to be doing the same pretty shortly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, P2 I think was the more eastern of the 2 palaces of P2 and P5. They're both gray. They're both on the west. little hard to keep them both straight.
Hitman having a little bit of trouble with the blue Azalfos. Very understandable. They can be pretty deadly. Also, not getting some hits, but okay, good jump. Life 3 holding up, and he's gonna make it out. No problem.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, it can be tricky to tell whether they're actually invincible or you're just missing the window. But could be. We'll see if Malchior gives us any more of a Death Mountain check.
Key draw for Hitman, I think. Okay, I think that cave just west of the raft tile leads to a dead end on the other side in what might be the northwest corner of the map, but it's hard to tell because DM things.
Wow, and both runners just finding a million keys in the drop hole. I think Malchior just found like 2 more fairly rapidly.
The game is being incredibly generous with them, for sure, yes.
Yeah, okay. Here's a potential boot requirement in Death Mountain.
I was going to say, I think we're stuck on the northern coast without boots, so...
Yeah, it's possible some of these caves lead down through, but it's also possible boots could be required. Also, this big open lake on the east side confirms that we are, I believe, that's only in vanilla-like, so...
Is that vanilla-like? Okay, yeah.
But still kind of a messy, cramped vanilla-like.
It is a bit of a funky one. I think I just barely spotted a speck rock on Malchior's side. Yep, there it is. Southwest corner out of his screen. I'm not sure. It looks like he saw it good, because... Just because we see it doesn't always mean the runner sees something on the... Might just be in the item pool, but at least he knows that's there. This cave should be Hammer Cave, yep.
Yeah, not even a good P bag either. He was very close to a level, and... Unfortunately, 30 points just not getting him there.
Yep. Hitman is on the west, I think? Or no, this is Maze Mountain. Lost.
Yeah, this is going to be, I believe, his first item here in the maze?
I believe so as well. And that's Magic Jar. Well, that is nice to find. Malchior having fun here in Hammer Cave.
Yeah, fun's a good description.
With that said, no sign of the bridge on the eastern coast of DM, and we haven't seen any sign of that bridge on Maze Island either. We might need to dig this DM a bit to find the bridge on the, southern coast someplace silly?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of water to the southeast of where Malchior is, and that the bridge does need to be over water, so that water would suggest that there's going to be a bridge down there.
And wow, DM guys 2 VPAX in it.
At least it was 300.
I guess something had to balance out with the absolutely loaded west. But yeah, no sign. There is no bridge on this maze. No second item. There's, and as I say that, there's the other item. With the heart container. Okay. We need to dig DM for this bridge tile.
Yeah, and Malchior making the correct play, walking it out of Hammer Cave. He wants to check that section that's right next to him.
Yeah. And then on the other side needs to go to DM, which needs to know that he needs to go dig DM.
One potentially scary thing for Malchior is he doesn't have the child, and it's starting to look like the route between the west and the east is long. And that's going to mean that if the child does end up being required, Malchior's going to lose quite a bit of time.
Yeah, because getting to from the east to the west to the east requires you to get to Maze Island, not particularly hard. Trek through DM takes a good couple minutes, so we still don't even know where this bridge is, just that it has to be somewhere.
And there
it is. Southwest corner. Lovely.
Yeah, not too many required caves if you have the boots, though. It looks like you could traverse this without the boots, but it would have been about 3 or 4 caves more.
I also think this map was literally impossible to traverse without the boots in the first place on the west, so that's a moot point.
It could have been. Malchior down to his last life, gotta be a little bit careful here. Hopefully once he gets to the east, he'll be able to reset quickly.
Yeah, because we have no idea what this east looks like.
Yeah, could be mountains, could be kind and be some islands.
That looks like an islands map.
Yeah, it definitely does.
With
Islands.
an utterly useless River Devil as per the usual for this biome.
Yeah, it's so hard for River Devil to be useful in an islands biome. I have seen it before. Thankfully, there are some upcoming changes in 4.4 where the River Devil might have some new tricks up his sleeve to make that a little bit less unnecessary to get past him.
Okay, we've got the other of P3 or 6 next to Darunia, which locks jump today, so that's good for Malchior, that he doesn't necessarily need that. Looks like we started kind of... the bridge dumped us what looks like the middle of the northern coast, right by the Valley of Death. River Devil, the northwest corner, and Darunia plus that 3 or 6 was straight south of the bridge. That Risen P-Bag Cave here for Malchior, there's that P-Bag for Hitman. Chat has opinions about the River Devil.
Yeah, he tries his best. People don't like to run vanilla where he really truly shines, but there's a glove for Malchior, so we are rapidly just winding up into full go mode relatively soon, only 20 minutes into the seed. Malchior just needs a fairy spell or any key to put palaces into logic, and that's gonna be it.
And fairy is only a matter of time. We know it's not in Darunia. Oh hey, both P-Back caves in the northwest corner by the River Devil. Yeah, we know that Darunia's got jump, so fairy is accessible. Malchior just has to find it. Sorry, right a little bit on the fritz. Nice one-up game.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty easy to find. Islands, of course, the worst biome to traverse until you've got the boots, and then it's the best.
Yep. For those who missed the very start, the west was also islands, and our starting island had the backside of Fairy Cave and the cave with the boots on it. So grass with boots on it. Those were the only things they could access. So it was forced immediate boots today.
Here's another town for Malchior. What do we got? Spell. Okay. You should be able to cast a spell on Magic 4, but no guarantee. 5 containers required. Oof.
Ooh, and Malchior did not dig to Maze Island for his magic jar. Malchior, that's the big difference with him and Hitman, is Hitman's done a bit more of exploration on things on that front.
Yeah, Patrick with a good note in...
Okay, we were a little further south than I thought it was. But my sense of direction's just bad. Go ahead.
There's a Patrick with a good note in chat that because the fairy spell is going to be here on the east, there's a pretty substantial time save if you want to clear all 3 palaces here in the east, so you don't have to double dip. But that is going to require doing 6, 3. And what is 6, 3, and 1? Without downstab?
1 out of 3 or 6 plus 1 and 4.
Okay. So
the other of 3 or 6 is on Maze Island.
Yeah, not sure how comfortable either of these runners are with the potential pain of a downstabless rebo.
Yeah. Ooh, for Malchior.
Yeah, speaking of pain, we got some Moas.
Yep. Hitman has not yet figured out. I think he needs to go dig DM for his raft tile.
Yeah, and the more he checks the overworld, the more time he's losing. If he hops into some palaces, I think he's got a decent number of keys. He could do an out of logic palace potentially, but no, he is definitely going to need to get back into DM soon.
Yep, Rauru here on the the Buru here in the middle of the eastern coast. It is linked to a random spell, so we could see if that's helpful at all. And that means Fairy is an old casino, wherever that is. Probably somewhere up north, in the northeast, maybe? Could be somewhere in the middle of the map. But what Hitman should be doing right now is he should know he's seen both connector caves and the raft tile. He knows he needs a bridge, and he should be just checking the coasts for it.
Yeah, the bridge can only appear along the coast. It can be kind of long and sort of dip out into the middle of the continent, but it does have to be within a couple tiles of the edge of the map.
Yeah, so I'm a little uncertain why Hitman is so far inland right now. Inland being relative, admittedly, given it's an islands map, but so far from the edge of the map.
Malchior getting the hints from the far end of Nibiru here.
Yeah, looks like it.
Little bit unusual given that I think at this point he has all of the knowledge that he needs.
He does. He knows he just needs Fairy to be in go mode, and he knows Fairy is in Old Casino by process of elimination. He just needs to find it, and he will find it. Here's P4 in the northeast.
Yeah, for people who haven't seen Z2 since the end of the Random Percent tournament, this is a slightly updated version, mostly the same, but one thing you will note is we've got a new menu. Thanks out again to J-Ro for the extended menu, so you can see all of the different things the runners have. Shoutouts also to Irene for making the new sprites for it.
Absolutely. Okay, Hitman's back in DM. Good. Malchior's on an enormous island here in the east, and I think he's found our last two landmarks.
Oh no, Hitman...
Wait, no.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
Go back, please.
I think he just checked those caves, and there's no way out without either hitting the raft again or going through a cave.
Yep. Actually, no. No, Malchior just looped back around. That was... yeah, that's the 3 or 6 next door to, Darunia, so... I don't think we've seen this yet.
Yeah, we definitely hadn't seen this water tile, and this is probably Old Kasuto just right next door.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Her container, basically, either her container or cross would be the ideal pickups for Malchior here, and her container's a good one.
Yeah, Magic Jar would be nice. He's only on 4.
Yeah. We don't know how much Thunder costs because he still needs to beat P1 to get it, but at 4 bars Magic 4, you're definitely not confident you're going to be able to cast it.
41 magic for Fairy here at Magic 4, which is castable. Only once, though. He's going to need 6 magic jars or another level or another magic level or 2 to be able to cast that twice.
And yeah, 2 different Moas sort of doing ideal timing to manage 4 hits before he can hit the edge of the screen.
Yowp. And good catch from Cooper in chat. Fire is not linked to Thunder today, as on the other side, Hitman has finally found the East. Good.
Yeah, Fire being Thunder would be real good for Malchior, because that would eliminate his magic concerns, but we'll see what it is eventually.
It's also not Fire Fairy, which would be quite convenient, so...
Yeah, at this point, I think Fire Life is about the best remaining thing it could be.
I would say so, yeah. But alright, time for Palace Digs. P4 first, because we're pretty close by. Why not, more or less? Or not. Malchior deciding, never mind, I'm going back to the west.
Yeah, and I think Malchior, that decision was he got into a palace and immediately thought, forget this, I want downstab. And he's going to be making a beeline for it. That's the only reason to take that up A. Because like I was saying before, it is going to cost him some time to do this double dip, go back through Death Mountain again. But how much time, how much sanity is downstab going to save? Probably a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Certainly sanity. Unknown how much time.
Yep. And yes, Patrick, P1 must be the Valley of Death, which has medicine for Thunder. Kind of rude here. Because, yeah, we've seen both the other palaces on the west.
So Hitman has found his way to the east, picked up his glove. We're going to see him sort of follow in Malchior's footsteps, and we'll see whether Hitman decides to take the up A for downstab or not. We'll also see a little bit more about the contents of New Kasuto, probably, because Malchior checked none of it, and I suspect Hitman will check all of it, given he does have enough magic for spell.
Yep. Yeah, our runner's fairly tied up in some respects and not so much in others. Malchior has the advantage on East exploration because Hitman took a while to get here. Hitman does, however, have that magic jar up on Malchior, and we'll see how if he chooses to upgrade for downstab, as he said. Oh, Malchior also didn't have the hint for P1 until now, so there's that.
Oh, well, now I guess he now definitely has all the information he needs.
I mean, if he knew he could get to the medicine wherever it is, he has everything he needs to get it. But yeah, it's good that he now has the info. Cross is actually not too bad for Hitman here in the old Kasuto, in the new Kasuto Old Lady. Wow, brain.
Yeah, internally in the code, I've been referring to that check as Granny's basement. It has been the source of some bugs recently.
Yeah. Sorry, chat. My brain's a little on the fritz. It's been a few months till last com Z2R. Brain needs to get back into it.
All right, castable spell. We're gonna see. No, sorry, not castable. It's 86, not 76.
That is expensive. Malchior's into P2.
Yeah, we will not be seeing the contents of Spell Tower today in all likelihood.
No. I mean, it's not something we need. It might be nice to have if it's a magic jar with the Yeti key, but we probably don't need it. Hitman, routing around here, if he heads straight south and explores this island, the other side of this island, he'll find, he will find, Old Kasuto, which is gonna save him some time on Malchior, because Malchior pretty much last location, Old Kasuto on the east.
Yeah, a little bit behind, but he is gonna have more magic and more life by the end of it, having gotten those Maze Island checks. And potentially could save a couple of minutes. Also, this cross gonna save him from the dangers of Moas.
Yep.
I'm just gonna be a little careful checking that side. If you for newer runners, if you level up or die while reading that sign, it's possible that it crashes the game. We have found a fix for that, but it is not in this version.
Lovely.
That's technically a vanilla bug, but it was very unlikely to actually happen in vanilla.
Our container number 7 for Hitman. Sure can't complain about that. Where was the 6th he found? I'm having a brain fart. Oh, wait, no, one on the west, one on Maison, and I just can't read my own notes. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to find the other of 3 or 6 here. And then P4's in the northeast. So Hitman's fairly close to full game knowledge at this point.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to get upstab as well. Malchior has not gotten it yet.
Nope.
And he doesn't have jump spell, and it's not going to be easy to get jump spell. That's going to require some medicine that we do not know the location of. So
it's not medicine. Jump is child.
Jump is oh right, jump is child. Okay, so he could go get that, but he could also just go get upstab.
Yep. But
that is a thing that he is likely to have to do a special trip for once he's ready to go to GP, or not. You can always just take a gamble of not needing upstab, but it's a moderate risk.
We'll see. Hitman decided it's going to get both upstab and jump at the same time here, since he has a child and fairy to get through here real quick, so not too bad. Malchior is having fun in P2.
Yeah,
Hitman, I think at this point is finding P4 from Go Mode, and he decides he's going to go back to the west as well. So he knows he can get to P4 wherever it is, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and Hitman also going to be making a beeline for downstab.
Yep, downstab, but then go clear palaces. So
this P2 has been long, and is also stressing Malchior's collection of keys a little bit. He did have quite a few coming in here. Yeah, I don't know exactly how many keys he had coming in, but it was quite a few.
Yeah, we know Hitman took a dip in here early and got key locked out fairly quickly. So there's a close fairy block. Malchior's like, yeah, I'm turning around.
Yeah, it could be a long room to clear, especially when you have a fairly quick right you can take up the elevator. Yep, Dripper's gonna be vanilla in this flag set, so no reason to hang out for them. Looks like it dripped one quickly anyway.
Life, and now, it's fire life, and I think it refills 2 bars.
Yeah, I don't remember if fire effectiveness is shuffled in this flag set or not. It might be always 3.
I'm gonna have to go check. Life refill meant not shuffled, so yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so 3 bars for sure. Which on fire's casting cost can be a whole lot of extra life once you get up to at least Magic 5 or so. Which shouldn't be a problem. Malchior on pace to finish at probably around 5, 6, 7. Should be pretty comfortable for him. And this looks like a loop. This looks like Malchior's seen this run before.
I've honestly lost track of it. He's been in here for quite a few minutes.
Yeah, I think this down route that he didn't want to take this, and he went right instead, and it looks like it looped him back to where he was. So he is now gonna break his way through these blocks.
Yep. Yeah, we're back to this room I was just counting on a minute ago, and it looks like Hitman's about to join him in P2. Nope, that's GP actually. My sense of direction is just plain garbage, as usual.
I think P2 is up the coast here, though, if I recall correctly. I missed that item.
It's in the north middle of the map, I thought. Any key for Malchior.
Ah, okay. Well, he has gone from a very large number of keys to an infinite number of keys.
Yep. I mean, I guess and there's the boss bangers.
Yeah, a little low on health could be a bit tricky, but Malchior is doing the very safe, very effective rising crouch stab strat.
And nope, P5 was in the northwest corner here, as which is where Hitman now is.
And 36 minutes in, our first gem placement. It was a little jetty early, just with how many progression items, but the path of the overworld slowed down our runners a decent amount.
Yep.
And probably going to see a P4 next from Malchior.
No, he's going to go clear P5 next. That's the other palace on the west.
Is P5 the other one on the west? Where was P4
Yes, again? P4 is on the east. It's
okay.
Next door to...
Oh,
it's in the northeast corner of the east.
Yeah, it's the one next to Old Casuto.
Okay. No, one next to Old Casuto is the other of 3 or 6.
Okay, it's hard.
Further northeast.
Palace locations are one of those things that I do a little bit of map tracking when I play. And palace locations are the most important reason I do that, because I am incapable of remembering what's where.
I keep approximate notes on, like, okay, it's in this corner of the map or that corner of the map, but still it takes me a bit to remember it once we get there. Especially in islands biomes, Like, my notes on Darunio, I think, is next to 3 or 6, is just it's in the middle of the map somewhere. I don't actually remember which more specifically.
Yeah, somewhere
I
not
just
on
know
the
it's
edge.
pretty much. And that could actually be really hard to locate in islands biomes because you're like, where in the middle of the map? Because it's hard to, because the frame of reference is difficult. And we have boots in this case, so it doesn't really matter. You can wander around for a minute, or you can figure out where exactly in the middle of the map something is. But it is a little annoying. It does look like Malchior is going to leave P5 for last. Also a fair play, actually, since it is P5.
Yeah, and leaving it for last doesn't cost almost anything because GP is going to be a very short up AOA.
Yep. And yeah, you probably are feeling like he'd rather have some more levels for Guma. P5 is being P5 for Hitman. This is the longest of the regular palaces on average, and it sure feels like it.
Yeah, definitely. And Malchior getting confirmation he is in P6, the second longest of the palaces.
Yep, the P6 is this purple one, and P3 is peach colored today. That's the one over on the east.
Hitman not having the magical key means that he's going to have to go a little bit out of his way for magic recovery and or additional keys. And ooh, not quite enough magic to get out of the pit and down to his last life. Oh man, that was actually extremely rude. The bubble bopped him into the pit and also stole just enough magic that he couldn't cast Fairy.
Oh, and this time the Stalfos knocked him into the pit. And he decides, I think understandably, let's come back later.
Yeah, I like this decision. Once you've already taken the game over, might as well do a slightly easier P2 instead.
Yep. Yeah, and he's heading east now to go to P2. Yes, this is the 4 seed versus the 5 seed Windfox enchant.
Yeah, and this is game 1. All of our top 8 matches are best 2 out of 3, except the final is going to be a 3 out of 5.
Yep. Palaces 2, 5, and 6, I think definitely all ruled long.
Yeah, and that can give you a little bit of information. The total number of rooms for each of the palace sets, so 1, 2, and 5, and then 3, 4, and 6, cannot be any longer than 63 rooms. And so if you see 2 palaces that are really long in a group, can give you some information that the remaining one has to be on the shorter side.
Yeah, P1's going to be short today, though P1's already short to begin with, so I guess that's not saying much.
Yeah, I was playing around with in 4.4 I added shortened palaces for the regular palaces and got a 7-room P1. It was a fun one.
Oh, fun. Here's Barbara speaking of things from Malchior.
Yeah, and confirmation on the Fire Life also working in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
Attack 4 not doing great, but getting 5 or 6 hits a cycle shouldn't take too long.
Yep, making good progress on this.
Definitely.
Hitman back in P2. We know this is just going to be a bit of a slog.
Yeah, definitely better to be safe than end up in the lava, even if it costs you 10 or 20 extra seconds. Oh no!
And as you say that, ouch.
I've delivered the commentator's curse onto Malchior. The absolute worst thing, going slow and safe and then dying anyway.
Yep. Would be comes without it. Alright, we're back at it again though for Malchior. We'll see how long it takes Hitman to find Helmet Head. I don't remember where he is beyond it took Malchior clearing what felt like the entire palace to find him.
good news
I believe it
is...
did include that glove fairy block you were mentioning at one point.
Yeah, the good news is that Malchior will definitely be getting a double level here no matter what. I think even a -2 is going to be 300 points here. Oh, very close call for Malchior. You got to be careful. All right.
Yeah, right, there we go. And yep, that is enough for a double level for Malchior. Going to be Magic 5 and Life 6 for him.
And okay, he was thinking about it. He decides to keep it rolling. He wants to get another attack level.
Alright then, well there is a fair amount of walking to be done here, as Hitman is going through this lovely room, which I do believe is the right way to go in P2.
Yeah, interesting that Malchior decided to take this bottom route to get to the raft instead of just following the river. He's gonna take an extra encounter because of it. I see what he's doing. He is just gonna farm for some experience here, and then
Looks like it.
take an up A at the palace.
Yep. Hitman's found Helmet Head, which was apparently right past that glove fairy block room.
Yeah, along with his magical key.
Which he's probably fairly happy to see, given Fairy is kind of expensive at Magic 3. I don't know, I haven't paid attention to how much it costs for Malchior.
Yeah, I think it's still just one cast per level for him.
Well,
just because he only has 4 containers.
Yeah, that's true.
Magic 4 5 containers might be enough.
Yeah, it was 41 at Magic 3, but it might be cheaper now at Magic 4. 41 being 1.2 expensive to cast twice on Magic 3. Here, trying to remember which path to take to get through here. I did not catch the menu again on this.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different paths you can take. There's only one cave that's absolutely critical, which is this last one, and it looks like he pretty easily found it.
Yep. And Hitman also walking down the coast now. Yeah, I think he can take either of the west-facing caves to get over this way.
Yeah, but you cannot get there by going into the middle and then going down. You had to go all the way to the south and then go west.
Yep. This should be P3, yep. For Malchior. Bit of a bright, well, I called it peach earlier, but kind of bright, like yellowish orange here today.
Yeah, a little bright on his graphical setup.
Especially with that background, yikes.
Yeah, not everyone's palettes look the same. It's just a function of the way the NES works, but this one didn't turn out great here.
Yeah, I would agree on that. It's a bit bright on the screen. And Hitman is heading straight forward as well. Gonna leave P6 for later. He's also down to his last life, but should be able to get through this encounter here.
Yeah, bit of a laggy one.
Yep, couple as alphas there, adding significantly to the lag factor. Okay, it's a little bit of a darker shade of orange on Hitman's side, but still very, very colorful. I think this is definitely the worst palette we've seen so far today.
Oh, Malchior got the kill, but not quite in time. And that Iron Knuckle is going to be back.
Yep.
Enemies in Zelda 2 do not count as dead until your experience starts ticking up, even if the experience number has already appeared on screen and the enemy's death animation has played.
Yep.
With the exception of bosses. Very kindly, bosses do actually die as soon as they start exploding.
That does help, yes. Would be real pain if they didn't.
Especially on Barba. If you hit the lava after killing him and it didn't count as dead, it would be just the worst.
Yeah. Bad news. I finally got to look at somebody's menu. It's still 41 magic at Magic 5.
Oof.
Or 41 fairy, sorry, Magic 5. Words.
Yeah, thankfully, both runners did end up doing P2 and getting their any keys. They won't be completely hurt by that, but it does still stink. Fairy is a very useful spell, even beyond going through doors.
Yep.
And the
also,
correct...
this yeah, go ahead.
I say the correct route rapidly approaching, just hold left as Malchior keeps finding dead ends here.
Yeah, I was thinking we've seen a decent amount of this P4, which feels like it might be on the longer end for this. Hitman has an extra magic jar and an extra heart container from Maze Island Cooper.
Yeah, Malchior did not do any of the checks in Maze Island.
Nope. That's also more or less a big reason why Hitman's behind, is he did that.
Yeah, those extra checks hurt Hitman, and then it took Hitman a little bit longer to find the way through Death Mountain. Those have been the two big things that hurt him, though certainly there's enough time that Palace Execution and GP luck can make a big difference here.
For sure. They're also pretty close together right now in P4. They're both going the same way. I think, although my sense of direction is also garbage. Hitman trying some very close quarters combat and does succeed with that Iron Knuckle to get some experience.
Yeah, Jacob with a good point. We still don't know how much Thunder costs, and that container could be important. Although, here's an item room for Malchior. Maybe he'll get a container here.
I mean, the remaining 3 have to be somewhere. Including right there.
Okay, just in time, Malchior manages to cast Fairy before picking up the container, so it's free.
Yep.
Would have been very unfortunate to have it the other way around. Fighter's still 20 at Magic 5. That is an unfortunately high cost.
Yeah, spell costs not being exceptionally friendly today. There's Karok. Hitman backtracking, I don't know quite where he's going. I've lost track a bit of P4 here. I thought he was following Malchior, but it might have gotten lost again.
Meanwhile, Malchior with a pretty quick kill on Rebo.
Yep.
Gonna get probably just life 6.
Yeah.
Possible he might try to save this for Magic 6.
We'll see. Hitman, okay, Hitman actually going back up the elevator. He was on a slightly different path to Malchior. Now Hitman's going the right way.
Ooh, and Magic 6 actually 10 experience more than Attack 6.
Huh.
Could potentially be... Yeah, could potentially be an issue if you really want Magic 6, say, because Thunder's uncastable. But not terribly likely.
Here's P4 for Malchior now. Hitman is on the right track for Karok, but it'll be a bit yet. P1 likely to be on the shorter side as discussed, given that P2 and P5 are both slogs.
Yeah, Malchior, we're gonna need to make sure he does pick up the item, though.
Yep, because we need that medicine. This is P4, though.
This is P4, okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is P4. P1's in the Valley of Death by process of elimination.
Right. We had determined that earlier and just forgot about it.
Yep.
I like this palette in P4 here for Malchior quite a bit better. It's sort of the more muted, less eye destroying version of the palette from the other palace.
Yeah, I'd like to call this kind of like a caramel color, I guess, for Malchior here. Kind of a dark orangey brown color.
Okay.
Ooh, this room just sucks for Hitman.
P4 with a hard container, so Malchior between those two palaces has managed to even out Hitman's container advantage.
Hitman really isn't having a fun time in that room. I think that was a game over. Yelp.
Yeah, and that's a lesson to newer runners. When you see a room like that, turn your cursor onto Fairy before you cross it, because it can be difficult to pause in time and get the cast off after you've already been bumped. But if you have it ready, you can much more easily be quick and save yourself. You're not going to be able to clear the room. You're going to have to backtrack out, but at least you won't die.
Yeah. Thankfully, Hitman is going back. I wasn't sure he would, because I don't think he'd cleared... Because I think he'd gone left here sooner than Malchior had. So I was worried he was going to go take one of the other routes that he hadn't checked yet. But it looks like he is going back, and we know this is the right way, so that's good for him.
Yeah, and this path seems to be relatively linear for Malchior. Don't think there were too many additional forks so far.
I don't. Not that I noticed, at least. No.
Hitman working his way back to where he was before. Yeah, I think wisely just deciding to go right on by the Doom Knocker. Don't even try to fight him.
Yeah. Not really worth it at this point. Hitman is back in this oh-so-fun room.
Extremely fun. Everything about it is fine. All right, and he's decided just to play it safe, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, just kill the bubble so they can quit bugging you. It's slow, but hey, if it works, it works.
Without the bubbles, that room is really not that bad.
No, it's just the bubbles can and will knock you off if you're not careful. And he's also going to get his magic jar here, which is nice. That is actually going to make Fairy castable twice on 1 life for him as well.
Very nice.
Because he's up to 96 magic now, and that's going to be 6 stars, which is 96 magic. And that is enough to cast Fairy twice at 41 points.
It'll also mean that he has enough magic that he's almost guaranteed to be able to cast Thunder. Technically, I don't think it's guaranteed that you're able to, on 6 bars, I don't think it's guaranteed you're able to cast Thunder until Magic 7, but Magic 6 is extremely likely, and Magic 5 still quite likely at 6 containers.
Yep. And yeah, for those who don't know, the amount of magic points you have, it's 16 points per bar, essentially. So you start with 64, then it's 80, 96, 112, and 128.
Yeah, so we get a sighting at Harder Karak here. He's got a couple different things that he does. Number one, we got some high, low, and alternating beams The second thing is that he's guaranteed not to teleport on top of you. He'll always teleport a little bit away from you on the screen. And so a little less random, a little more skill testing. Also, one thing that's possible on harder Kirok is because he won't ever teleport on top of you or behind you, you can sort of work your way up a little bit closer to him. And it makes it more likely that you get hits, but also reduces the amount of time you have to react. It can be a little bit spooky.
Yep. And into P4 now for Hitman, as Malchior is off to go to P1.
Yeah, and so far both runners taking very similar routes. Hitman unfortunately taking that game over, but not too much variance in pathing. Ooh, very cool block stall for Hitman in this room. And with only one cast of Fairy per life, going to be a little bit tricky potentially to cross Death Mountain. It looks like he is going to have the full 3 encounters, so I have to either do one the intended way or try to get through an encounter skip on one.
Yeah, and it does take a lot of math there. Gonna cast Fairy, gets the encounter skip.
Oh, I'm sorry. He had all his lives remaining, so he can't actually just Fairy feed all 3 of these.
Yep.
As we pass the
for P1.
Yeah, just passing the hour mark is a pretty good pace here for P1. And this should be a fairly short one. Both because it's generally shorter and because we did see what seemed to be a little bit longer 2.
2 and 5 both felt long, yeah.
Yeah, hard to say for sure, but
and well, as we say things.
Yep, here's our horse, but Malchior is gonna have to back up and find the item room to get his medicine. Probably gonna place the jump first though. So a solid 1 minute P1, at least to place the gem. And it is a little bit, okay, nice. He is gonna get magic 6. Yeah, and then we're gonna see an up A. I would like to see him go and pick up the Thunder Spell before going back to P5, just to make sure that he has enough to cast it. If you know that you can't cast it, it gives you some extra information that might be helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
If you know that you can't cast it, you might try to get a little bit more experience to see if you can get magic 7. You might check the item room that you'd otherwise skip, hoping it's another container. As if you do P5 first and then go get Thunder and it turns out you can't cast it, then you're just going to start item hunting. Thankfully, if that does end up being the case, then his item hunt will almost certainly lead him to Maze Island first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like this P1, the the boss was right away, but a big linear left-facing path to the item room.
Seems like it, yeah. There can't be too much left in here, but yeah, definitely a few rooms here to get to the item.
Yeah, it looks like you're basically just forced to 100% this palace. Thankfully, it's just a 1.
Yep, and there's medicine from Malchior. Hitman upping in P4. I don't remember where Karak was, but I do believe it was something of a dig from Malchior.
And Malchior almost up aid too early. He paused before picking it up, realized it, unpaused, grabbed it, and then did his up A. Would have been an unfortunate time loss if he did that the wrong way around.
Oh yeah, because he would have then had to go back through Death Mountain, back through the maze, back to the maze, back through Death Mountain, back through the Valley of Death to go back through P1 to pick it up again, which would be quite the slog.
Yo, Hitman, I hadn't seen many other runners doing that. Pretty good at getting those block stalls to wait for the Moa. Just make that room a little bit easier. Make sure that he's not gonna sneak up on you. Worth noting, Malchior did not go. I don't think we saw him go and pick up stab or jump up.
I don't believe so in either.
So he is going to be going into GP without the ability to get through any upstab blocks. Could potentially make a difference.
Yep.
64 for Thunder, so very castable.
Oh, good. Expensive, but castable, and that's the big thing.
Hitman taking a couple hits on Karak, but no big deal. I think this should be attack 5 for him.
It is.
So he's thinking about what he wants to take, maybe going for Magic 6, maybe a little concerned about Thunder costs.
Yeah, because he knows he's going for P1 next.
All right, does end up going with attack 5. And here is our second appearance of extremely cursed Horsehead for the seed.
Yep. Yeah, this is a case of graphical glitches where there's certain bosses that borrow room on the sprite sheet to be able to exist, and Guma's one of them. Karak is also notable for making for some interesting looking mini bosses for the same reason.
Yep. It's just the way the graphics get loaded causes them to use unintended graphics and sometimes look a little ugly, but they still function exactly the same.
Yep.
Malchior finding that same route that Hitman did the first time through here. You go right, you go through a whole bunch of rooms, you hit a dead end, you feel sad.
Yep.
But hopefully not too long of a 5 for Malchior. It is a little bit difficult to say because we didn't see Hitman get all the way through it.
No, Hitman took a look in here for a bit, but ended up having a not excellent time on, so what, 3, 4, 5 were similar levels? And
yes.
So come back after clearing the rest of the palaces.
666 with Fire Life gonna be a lot easier.
Sure.
And did I say that correctly? Was that a 9 at Magic 6 for fire?
I did not catch that.
It was 20 at Magic 5, so 9 would be a big reduction.
For sure. I mean, it had to go down eventually. 20 is kind of expensive.
Yeah. Oh, Malchior. I thought Malchior had correctly determined this is a dead end. He is not, so I see both our runners walk through this terrible dead end room. Just give you a little reward for making it through, though.
Yep. And, okay, Hitman having a real thing. Yeah. Attack 6 versus Magic 6 and takes attack 6. It's Fire Life on.
Malchior getting slightly trolled by that bubble, but able to move on. Yeah, this is the biggest gain of having a little extra magic and access to fairy. It's just being able to take rooms that you don't like and disregard them.
Yep.
Like this one. It's one of those rooms where it's nice to have another cast of fairy available.
For sure.
But Malchior making it look real easy.
And takes death. Yep.
Yep, thankfully just his first death so far here.
Hitman is still on his medicine hunt right now in P1.
And I think this was the two enemy version of this room. There was a single tin suit on top of the stairs who went the wrong way at the start, but
Alright, and that's up A for Hitman. He is now done with P1 and is in and is going to go well, okay, I'm not exactly sure why he jumped in there, but anyhow. Not a big loss.
Yeah. I was about to say, there's kind of a lot of rooms in P5, but Malchior finding Guma, and yeah, he's got Shield Spell, he's got Fire Life, he's got full bar of magic and health. Should be no problem here. Yep, doesn't even need the life.
And that's going to be a 6 gem here in hour 11, and then he's going to be off to GP. Just going to be a quick walk down the western coast. There's a good few minutes lead here on Hitman, who's picking up Thunder now and has to go back to P5 and then clear P6 as well. Neither of which were exceptionally quick.
Yeah, GP going to be, again, fairly standard of these flags. We've got Thunderbird required, shortened GP. So our runner's going to be definitely looking to find that bird. And I don't know, I think Malchior might be a left enjoyer. We'll see if he makes that decision coming in here.
112.04 curtain for Malchior.
And let's see.
I really like this shade of green today in GP.
Oh yeah, this is a very nice one. Oh, and the blue curtains to go with. I like it a lot.
Really nice. The chickens are ruining the mood a smidge.
Just absolutely chasing him.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a 9 magic fire, so both Shield Spell and Fire Life going to come in handy to help keep Malchior safe here in this GP.
Yep. Hard down stab block at the start. Funny game. Good thing they both got it.
as safe as one could be from GP chickens.
Indeed.
Oh, but then the seed being kind and giving an easy fairy.
More chickens!
Yeah, so far a linear but kind start to GP, despite the chickens. But here's going to be our first fork. Does Malchior like up or right here?
Takes the up into got a left and right there as an options. Although with that upstab, that room's kind of fun.
Yeah, just for a bit of summary, a big part of the reason that Hitman is this far behind, a few things hurt him. He did a dip into 5 much before Malchior did, and unfortunately took a game over and had to leave and come back later. Also, the path to the east required you to go around a little bit of a circuitous route in Death Mountain, and it took Hitman a little longer than Malchior to find that. Those are probably the 2 biggest contributors of difference in this race.
Hitman also dug out the items in Maze Island for a magic jar and a heart container, which didn't help. Not it does that. Nice save.
Yeah, nice save. Unfortunately, both runners not realizing that this is, in fact, a dead end, so...
Yeah. And actually good point from Patrick. Yeah, that room a couple rooms back at the fork was a hard block for Malchior without upstab or jump. Right. Yeah. And Sunny highlight in the chat.
Malchior having to use up a decent amount of magic to cast Fairy, but not too bad still. Magic 6 definitely made a big difference over Magic 5, both in Fairy cost and Fire cost.
Yeah, Fairy looks to be down to about third, not just 28 magic or so, just under 2 bars. It was 41 previously, so that's an improvement. I'm just laughing at Relic in chat.
Yeah, there's a diversity of players who played. We had 25 players sign up for this Upstarts. We have now cut to top 8, but players from a lot of different places, a lot of players from other randomizers, players from the vanilla Zelda 2 scene. So if you have seen some of those other games, some of the runners here in Upstarts may be familiar to you.
Yep. I, for example, know Malchior from the Z1R side of things. I have, and then Hitman I know from LTDPR. Rabbi is on there in the chat is also someone I remember primarily from the LTDPR side of things.
Yeah, we've got some heavy hitters from ALTTPR, Zelda 1 randomizer.
This might be a loop from Malchior. I remember this room.
This could be an upstab requirement. He does not
/ jump. Yeah, that is Patrick was saying in chat earlier.
I think it's possible to break through and scum this out without jump spell.
He's certainly trying.
I don't remember whether you could. I know you could break the short. Yeah, I don't remember whether you could break these top ones without jump spell though. I know you can with jump spell, but I don't think you can get your head far enough in there.
Chat confirms that's a jump or upstab requirement.
Yeah, I know logically it's jump or upstab required, and yeah, it's.
I think the upright in that room is the only way forward. I think Malchior had a linear path to that loop.
So this is big. This is what Hitman needed to catch up. One of the big things Hitman had done at this point that Malchior didn't was go get jump, go get upstab, which are in the same town. And Malchior cut a corner here to try and save a little bit of time, and unfortunately is going to lose quite a bit because of it.
Yeah, now Hitman does still have to go clear P6, which took Malchior a bit, so...
Yeah.
I think Malchior still has the edge, but it's closer than it was previously.
Yeah, I mean, this trip back to the east, as we said before, is not a quick one. It's going to cost him a couple minutes. Is it enough time for Hitman to catch up? I don't think so, but it's certainly going to narrow the race quite a bit.
Yep. P6 is one of Malchior's first palaces, so I have absolutely no clue where Barbara is beyond it took a while to find.
Yeah, so for people who didn't see it earlier, this whole route that Malchior takes is 100% required the only way to get to the east. You need to get the boots and then go all the way around this coast and then go through at least 2 caves. And that leads you to this corner over here that you can't quite walk all the way around to with the boots. And this bridge goes to the east. Yeah, definitely a pain. It was possible for our runners to one-shot the east, but both of our runners chose to up A after picking up Fairy to get down stab instead of one cycling the east. And unfortunately, Malchior are going to be stuck doing this trip for a 3rd time to get up stab.
Yeah, that feels bad.
Meanwhile, Hitman making good pace in P6. Unfortunately, if I remember right, P6 is kind of a hold left for a really long time. I don't think Hitman has realized that fire is life.
I don't believe so either.
He's had a couple of occasions like this where he's full on magic and very low on life, and could fix the situation if he knew.
Mm-hmm. Alright, upstep picked up for Malchior, that's an up A for him. And yeah, Hitman, we might need to tell him about that in an interview.
Okay.
Oh, he doesn't have fire. That's a fun chat, I forgot.
Yeah, we don't. He has fire tracked on his tracker, but I think he just marked that's what the town was and didn't ever go and get it. How rare is it for upstab to be required? I guess something like 10, maybe 15% of seeds. It's not really common, but it's definitely something that happens. A number of the rooms that are supposed to require upstab, you can do some tricks with jump to get through, and that can alleviate the requirement, but there is at least one room where upstab is 100% required. You cannot bypass it with jump. So the option always exists out there, and yeah, unfortunately for Malchior, he didn't have jump, because both upstab and jump were in Darunia.
Yep. And just as and actually, that particular, yes, there is at least one room that is hard upstab locked if you come at it from that direction, because it's bidirectional. It is actually this room right here, going the opposite way, is hard upstab block.
Yeah, if you go...
I forget who made this community room, but that's why they made it.
Yeah, I should... Give me 1 second, I can look that one up.
But that is the one hard upstab blocked room for sure, is you cannot bypass that S-curve with... you have to have upstab block for that. Because that's a variant on the vanilla upstab / downstab block room where it's straight up and down, is they made it an S-curve instead to stop people from cheesing it.
I did look it up, and shoutouts to Link7777 for submitting that one.
Nice.
I have it marked in the file as Bluebird and Big Bubble upstab skip prevention room. Not most of the rooms do not have names in the rooms file, but I have been adding names to them as I go just so I can help identify them. It helps me when I'm going through stuff that the rooms have names, but not all of the rooms have names.
Yep. Yes, The vanilla variant of that room that's straight up and down is doable without upstab. It's a little fiddly though.
Yep, it's a little fiddly. I know Mariah is in chat. He has a pretty good tutorial if you're interested in learning how to do that, but it does require the jump spell.
Yep. Alright, we're on Barba for Hitman. Nice fight there. That's down. And Malchior is fighting chickens. Does manage to squeak through the room just barely. Was worried he was gonna get hit by a sword there, but gets through into this fun room.
Yeah, not so bad with these enemies. Vertical bubbles in that room can be a bit difficult.
Yep. Got a red chicken knight here.
Yeah, and Malchior.
No health and no magic, so it has to fight here.
I think he's just inviting death at this point.
Yep.
Come back with some more resources.
Yep. Hitman, I think, is trying to needs to walk all the way over to GP, which is pretty much at the other end of the map from start.
Oh yeah,
this red chicken knight is not letting him get past.
Yeah, if the chicken there is a bit of a trick if the chicken is in the first block. If you open the second and third blocks from the ground, you could get into a position where you are one block lower than the chicken, and you could stab him in the knees. In that particular waffle configuration could be a good save. Thankfully, Malchior, with all of this magic and knowing that its fire life is going to have no problem healing back up, but unfortunately he heals back up right into not being able to cast Thunder. So he's going to have to take a second death of this continue.
Yeah, on the other side, I think unfortunately Hitman has forgotten where GP is. Because he is not going to GP. I'm not sure where he's going, but it's not GP. For those who don't know, GP's in the southwest corner. I think that's P2 right there. Which, this does happen to people. Sometimes it's just a bit unfortunate when someone loses track of a landmark that they haven't really seen much recently.
Well, you got a little bit off cycle on the pattern. You should just stall a little bit on the right here. Yep, it's a safe way to reset. You do need to safely get Thunderbird back into the pattern. It's very unlikely that the fireballs will hit you if you hug the right side of the screen. They tend to despawn there, but not guaranteed. Do not blame me if you do get hit.
There we go, though.
Yep. 1,000 useless experience points for killing Thunderbird.
Yep. Oh, good, and Hitman found his way here, finally.
Excellent. So, at this point, Hitman is going to be depending on Malchior to take a game over, I think.
I think so. He's about 5.5 minutes behind Malchior's re-entry to GP. That upstab log room was fairly early, but it depends on which route Hitman takes to get it. Yeah. What Hitman decides to do when he gets there.
The good news for Hitman is that because of the way Malchior had to do Thunderbird, he has no magic remaining and only about half of his last life left. So a game over definitely in the cards.
Sure. A waffles and lava room here for Malchior.
Yeah, so far a pretty kind configuration. Yeah, just a MOA with, and thankfully GP in the west, so it is a nice kind Western MOA. You do not need the cross to see.
Yep. Yeah, because that's one of the other things Hitman got that Malchior didn't, was the cross out of New Kasuto. Alright, here's the fork for Hitman. Going up here is the upstab block room that Malchior just got clunked with.
Oh,
Right is the loop.
This is gonna be a tough room for Malchior. He's got to make 2 4-block jumps.
And deal with his chicken while he's at it. Good, he gets that in the lava.
And he makes both of them. Well done.
Paperclip here. Ooh.
Oh, a huge red jar.
You needed that badly.
Yep, that's going to refill all of his life. Going to give him at least 1 fairy cast in the bank for any trolley rooms.
Hitman having fun with this pillar room again. In this palace.
I would have killed that King Bot to for newer runners. If you kill King Bot, he eats up all of the sprite slots and despawns all the other enemies from the screen. But it's okay. Malchior has reached Dark Link. That red jar honestly may have saved him this race.
It might have, honestly, yeah.
But now he's going to be at Dark Link with, like, I don't know, 20 or 30 bars of life in reserve, so get your GGs ready.
Malchior going to take game 1 here in quarterfinals, just cutting to sub 130, 129.29.
And he's very excited about it.
Yeah, Jack can't see him. We can see his face.
It was close. He's very close to dying there in that GP and manages to clutch it out. Those 4-block jumps over the lava, not easy.
Not at all. He will be joining us for an interview shortly here. Switch audio to Hitman. Let me check audio levels. It's fine. And we are now joined by Malchior. GG.
That was a scary one at the end.
There is a 1% chance maybe I survived that emoji room without the red jar.
Yeah, we were saying the red jar, and then also those you had to make.
Oh gosh! Oh no, the 4 tiles?
Yeah, you had to make the 2 4-tile jumps. That's not easy either.
No, I was okay with that. I think I'm luckier to survive the Faka and the fire chicken, whatever, on that disposable bridge.
Yeah, not easy rooms by any means. It is a little unfortunate. Like the room right before Thunderbird, you took a bunch of damage, had to cast a couple lives, and that left you just short, and not only cost you a life, but all of your magic on your next life. And yeah, and the scary thing is that Hitman had a bit of a rougher time getting to GP, but he had, right when you were sort of dealing with that whole mess, he had gotten into GP. He had upstabbed the first time, was right on the correct path, so that game over might have been decisive.
Oh my gosh, it's entirely possible. Yeah, I figured by the time I got my 6th crystal, I'm like, I have done everything in this seed wrong. The only thing I did right was found the path to east through DM early-ish, but not early enough. So I'm like, I've got to be behind. Screw upstab. I should have gotten it while I was on east. I should not have saved out of 1. I'm going to GP without upstab. Let's go.
Yeah, the 2 things that hurt Hitman in this race that gained you some time is you were actually the first one to find the way to the east. It took Hitman a little bit of time to find that route. And then also, he had checked the items in Maze Island and had done a little bit of 5 before game overing and abandoning it.
Yeah, I saw like all the connectors in MI. Oh, he geoed in 5? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I saw the connectors and I was like, okay, west goes to west. That's bad. That means I have to find a connector in DM. So I was like, I don't care about digging MI right now. I need to get over to the east. I need to get Ferry. And even then, that took forever. This is the last freaking town I got to.
Yeah, Hitman had some nicer luck there, and he basically just went north and east first and found it right away.
Nice.
But yeah, he's just been having a little bit of a rougher time in these palaces. Has made a big difference. But yeah, the other big thing we were wondering, and both of you ended up doing the same thing, is whether or not either of you would up A to get downstab after getting Fairy Spell. Because it did add a couple of minutes having to do another loop over to the east, but you know, how much time does downstab save? It's quite a lot.
Yeah,
I ended up making the same decision there.
I didn't want to, but when I went into my first palace, and I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have downstab. I'm like, oh, this doesn't really matter, because I can do downstabless rebo, it's slow, and I'm like, but how many times am I going to have to neutral jump over everything, and then just take hits after hit after hit? It's like, oh gosh, no, I need downstab.
Yeah, another big difference definitely showing itself here as Hitman unfortunately takes a game over in GP is that you had gotten Fire Life and Hitman did not.
Yeah, I do not beat that GP without Fire Life. I do not.
It helped a lot, for sure.
Yeah, and Hitman having seen you finish and that game over has forfeited.
GG's to him as well.
Yeah. That was a doozy. It was such a slow start. I'm like, I can't get anything. I don't know why I went into 2. I'm like, 2 keys, I can get through 2, right? Bonehead play. But
Yeah.
2 had any key. If I'd have made it a little longer there, maybe it'd have paid off. I can't remember how many keys were between me and any key.
Keys were very common in the drop pool. You both were getting quite a few, but neither of you did too much gambling on it until, you know, once you got Fairy Spell and started doing palaces, and then you found any key right away, and it was sort of like, well, okay, it doesn't actually matter that the keys were common.
Yeah, the last worry of mine, and which was kind of why I was saving that Thunder till the very end to go pick it up again, was like, I still only have, 5 containers, because I found 1 container and 3. I'm like, am I going to be able to cast Thunder? I wanted to get my magic levels as high as I could before I went to check.
Yeah, it was a concern. The thing that we knew that you didn't is that if it did turn out that you needed to grab some more containers, probably Maze Island is the first place you look, and there was a magic container there. So
yeah, it would have been MI. It might have even been. Oh yeah, because it'd take forever to get back to East. Because I knew I had 2 checks in Nukasudo. I didn't want that spell without because it said 5 containers. I'm like, sweet. Let me go find just the water tile. Let me find the desert tile. I find 1 MC. I come back to NK. I get 2 checks, and never went back.
Yeah, no, we didn't end up seeing the spell tower. The basement was, I think, the basement was the cross, but we didn't see spell tower because Hitman got there on 5 containers, which was enough for the basement. But 5 containers, Magic 3 could not cast spell. So
no, spell was something like 84 or 86.
Wow. I think I had Magic.
We were surprised.
3. I think I had 3, maybe 4 when I was over there at East first time. Oh, golly gracious. Yeah. I my biggest thing I think was just finding that route in DM, because I felt so behind.
Okay, well, that's everything I've got. Any final thoughts before we take off?
Nope. I'll be looking forward to game 2. I'll be doing game 2 next week. Get myself a breather. Maybe practice up a little more. He says, but he knows he has 100 other things. He says, but he knows he has 100 other things on his plate.
Well, we look forward to it.
Yep. Thank y'all very much for commentating, Elendar, Star, and for getting this restreamed. I hope my performance wasn't too concerning.
It was good to watch. Don't worry about it. And GG's, and good luck in Gear Game 2 on Thursday as well.
Oh, next week. It's not necessarily this
Thursday?
Thursday.
Oh
No,
wait,
just
no,
next
I'm
week.
mixing up matchups. Yes, good luck next
Yeah,
week.
yeah. I
I
thought
think I
about
was
doing it
thinking of
this
a
Thursday.
different Game 2 on Thursday. That's brain fart. Good luck at any rate.
Yeah,
I know it's the next race that has their Game 2 on Thursday. That's what I got.
correct.
confused
And
with.
we got
Oops.
done just in time before the 10 o'clock, so y'all gotta go get ready.
Yep. Yeah. We'll be doing that here. So, with that said, please give both of our runners a follow, Malchior and Hitman, to my co-Kyle and thanks to Patrick for doing the tracking tonight. Coming up ahead on the ZSR schedule, we've got an oddly busy Tuesday evening here. As mentioned, we have another Z2R match starting in 20 minutes here. That will be bouncing over to ZSR2 for that. We've got Methinks versus Sonirath, this game 1. Because here on ZSR Main, we're handing it off to the Link to the Past randomizer survivors of Hyrule Tournament 2024. They've got a semifinals match between Allison and Freda that will also be starting in 20 minutes. And just in case you really wanted more Zelda, in 20 minutes over on CSR3, we have the Link to the Past No Major Glitches League Season 7 Tower of Hera Round 1 match between Oasi and Relkin. Just in case you really wanted some more Zelda for the night, we've got plenty happening. Tomorrow we've got we've got 3 LTTP NMG matches, a Link to the Past randomizer cross keys match between Gilgamesh and Paradamario, and then our next Z2R matches will be on Thursday on the schedule right now. The brackets playing between and Nimbus versus Talon, and Game 2 of Methinks versus Sonriat, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, that's going to be it here for us for Z2R on this channel tonight. Go hopping over to ZSR2, and we'll see you all there soon.